I'm excited to talk about AI. It's crazy how, did you pivot your whole business once the AI revolution started to come
So
out?
my question was, how do I take my 10-step plan, my blueprint, and how do I apply AI to each and every one?
When I see all this stuff with AI and how to take advantage of it, it starts to feel overwhelming for me. Everyone's talking about AI right now. And as a business owner, you're costing yourself money and getting left behind if you don't know how to use it. And if you're like me, the idea of trying to figure out how to use AI is confusing, it's overwhelming, and honestly, it's just another thing to pile onto the to-do list. The good news is your suffering is now over. So, in this episode with my buddy Scott, we actually do a live demo of how he teaches his small business owner clients how to create your own director of marketing in a dialed in marketing plan through AI in less than 30 minutes. So, we literally walk through Chat GPT and walks you right through how to use it and create this really epic marketing strategy. So you'll walk away here with clear and simple strategies on how to put yourself ahead of 90% of your competitors. Now, Scott, he's got over 20 years of experience in marketing. He's worked with brands like Ford and Home Depot and NASCAR, McDonald's, and more. He is a recognized global authority on AI powered marketing for small business owners. And he also has a really epic 10-day AI marketing bootcamp that teaches you how to supercharge your marketing with AI strategies and techniques. And guys, wait until you see what he does with my business live on the podcast. Your mind is going to be blown. Now, if you want to check out Scott's AI marketing bootcamp, the details are in the description down below. If you're listening to this on a podcast platform, you will get the best experience by tuning into this on YouTube and being able to see the demo live. With that said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Franchise Empire Show. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, and building your empire doesn't happen overnight. My name is Tarek Johnson, and owning franchises is what helped me go from employee to employer and start building my empire for my family. So this podcast is for you, the empire builders. For those of you who want to build something that stands the test of time. This is for those of you who are crazy enough to believe that you can make the dream in your head come to life. This podcast is all about bringing you real people who are building real empires so you can get inside their mind and heart and get proven strategies and actionable insights that will catapult you to build, grow, and scale your empire. I'm excited to talk about AI. It's crazy how, did you pivot your whole business once the AI revolution started to come out? Because it was like you hopped on that thing pretty quickly and all of a sudden you had programs and you were talking about AI 24/7. So like what were you doing before that in your marketing business and then making that pivot to AI?
Yeah, great question. For me, marketing was about more or less 8 to 10 fundamental steps. If you market a barbershop, if you market a gym, if you market a franchise business, if you market anything, it comes down to a couple of fundamental things. So for the last 20 years, I've been in marketing, big businesses and small businesses. And because of that, I've developed a framework that I think you ended up getting the course. And it was like an 8 to 10 step framework: identifying your ideal customer, setting some goals around that customer, establishing a budget based upon anticipated customer acquisition costs, and then building out a marketing plan based upon the goals and the budgets, developing a calendar and tactically what you're going to do with core messaging. As I had that and AI launched in November of 2022, I looked at it and I thought, how can I take my framework, my 10-step framework of identifying an ideal customer, developing a core message, plan, all this stuff, and how can I accelerate that process with an AI? Short example, I essentially charge larger clients $20,000 for a marketing plan for all those items, and they'll spend it because they can avoid losing a bunch of money on spending money on ads and a year or 2 years of just throwing darts at a dartboard. With AI, you can accelerate that whole process. And so my question was, how do I take my 10-step plan, my blueprint, and how do I apply AI to each and every one? So I reached out to AI experts all around the world. I started doing workshops, getting custom prompts, and literally step by step applying AI tools, prompts, and approaches to take those processes that normally take 30 or 60 or 90 days and thousands of dollars and do them instantly, just about in like minutes. And I've got a couple of samples for you to do. If you're ready to later on, if you're ready to go, I'm ready to do this, and we'll do it for your business live right now and give everybody the experience of how fast this can happen, because it is mind blowing. It's one thing to talk about theory.
Yeah.
It's a whole other thing to see it actually transpire real time. So
Oh, I'm
I've
glad
got
you
some
said that
sample
because
prompts for
I
you.
had on my notes things to bring up with Scott. Can we do a live demo? And so
Dude,
we're on the same page, man. Um, well, what's interesting to me is so when I hired you, what was that, about a year ago now?
yeah,
I guess
it
that
was
was
right
right at
before
the
AI really hit.
beginning. And yes, I went through some of your core frameworks and all that stuff, which was incredible. You and I had just did some great work together, and you came as a sort of trusted referral because I had initially saw you on the podcast with Skylar, and then Skylar told me that he had hired you, and I'm like, well, anyone that Skylar's hired is an easy. I don't need to vet that on my end. And obviously we just hit it off, but it was impressive for me to see how you went from some of the things that we were working on, and then all of a sudden it seemed like within a matter of a month or two, like you were like the AI guy, and I was like, man, what an incredible pivot. That was awesome.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think of myself as the applied AI marketing person, meaning in my workshops, my goal was not to totally understand the theory of AI or the future of AI or the ethics of AI. As a marketing person, I approached it as simply, if it was a buffet, how to apply these tools to my own business immediately. And I had all these people, I had thousands of people coming to my workshops. I was thinking, how do I take these tools and make them practical and useful instantly? And I have to tell you, some of them didn't work. I would walk people through my workshops and say, try this. And they'd be like, nah, it doesn't work for me. It's taking too long. I don't want to be an AI person. So my goal was how to take these tools and make them super applicable to the smaller business. Because if you remember, my story was I had this big business, 10 million, 11 million, 12 million in sales, growing like gangbusters. And a lot of my friends had smaller business, $250,000, $500,000, or $1 million or two. And they would come to me and say, hey, can you help me with my marketing? And my minimum was just too high. I lost it all. And in that process, I ended up creating that marketing plan, the social media course. And then my focus was really on how do I put practical, usable tools in small businesses' hands that are super practical, super, paint by numbers applicable, so you can do it today. And that was my focus, and that was my goal. So I got criticized a little bit, like they would ask me about the ethics of AI and the future of AI. And my answer was always like, I don't know the future of AI. I don't even know exactly how some of the AI works. What I'm interested in is if you've got a small business and your goal is to produce and distribute content, find your ideal customer and get more leads this weekend, that's what I started applying AI to do.
That's a great point, because it's like, okay, like we flip the light switch. We don't need to know how the light switch like how the electricity works and how it's wired in order to use it towards something that benefits us. So I think that's a really good point, and a great pivot into my question that I have, which is I'm busy. I'm a parent of 2 kids under 5, a husband, and got a business. And when I see all this stuff with AI and how to take advantage of it starts to feel overwhelming for me. And it's like, oh man, this is just like, it's like another thing to try to learn and do. And I feel myself avoiding, learning. And so I guess the first question is, why should small business owners and entrepreneurs pay attention? Like, why is it even important that they understand how to apply AI, not necessarily understand how it all works though? Like, what are the benefits to them?
The benefits of understanding AI is cost reduction. And I'm not talking like on the order of 10% or 20% or 30%. I'm talking about 95, 99, in some cases 100% elimination of expenses and marketing expenses. So this is a radical transition. With the use of AI, there's now tools that are available to us that have never been seen before. In the 20 years of marketing, I've seen obviously the advent of email. I've seen the advent and the introduction of cell phones. I've seen the introduction of apps and social media, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and seen the acceleration. I've never seen anything in my entire life as transformative as AI. So the first thing is the reduction of expense. The second thing is speed to market. The third thing is the hyper personalization. One simple example would be I had a woman and she had two boutiques. She had two boutiques, just like you said. Target. She has, I think she has two or three kids. She's running two businesses, and she knows she needs to market them, but she can't find the hour to do it properly. Let alone to learn and then to apply it. So she was looking at spending like $2,000 for the social media person, and I'm sure it was a great person. She came through my workshop, and in about 40 minutes, what we're going to do here in just a few minutes, she designed a persona, a marketing plan, a 4-touch email campaign, social posts, and ads, and then was able to just give that to her receptionist who she was already paying. And in about 45 minutes, they could schedule all that content, and it went out. And she started marketing her business, and she eliminated a director of marketing that she was going to hire for $2,000 or $3,000. It was a part-time person, but she eliminated that cost.
Wow.
Not only did she eliminate that cost, but the quality and quantity of marketing she was able to do was something she'd never been able to do before. When she saw the quality of the emails, and I'll show you in a second, the email just were mind-blowing. They were mind-blowingly good. And she would never be able to afford a copywriter to write that kind of copy. She would never be able to hire a marketing strategist to develop a plan like she had. And so speed, reduction of cost, and the big risk isn't AI. The big risk is your competitor using AI and you're caught flat-footed, and then you see your competitor next to you out marketing you like crazy. And if you fall too far behind, it just means that that learning curve is going to get steeper and steeper and steeper. You will succumb to AI. The question is when and how far are you going to be behind?
My intention with this podcast is to help you build your empire. If you've gotten a single piece of value, one of the best ways you can help me and the podcast is to simply press the like button on YouTube. Lastly, share this podcast. Share it with someone who you know who is an empire builder. Imagine the impact you can have by helping them learn something that can build their business and empire. People will associate the value they got from this information from you, the person that shared it with them, all because you shared it with them. I appreciate you and your support. Let's get back to the episode. Yeah, it's a great point, and it almost like it makes success and like you're saying that these kind of like having a director of marketing accessible for business owners that may not be able to afford it. About 6 months ago, I hired a full-time W-2 director of marketing in our business. And, he's just been a game changer for us. But I know my team leverages AI. They do a lot of it behind the scenes. I don't even know exactly how they're doing it or what they're doing. But to me, if it makes what they do more efficient, like phenomenal and great. And we have this marketing meeting that we do with me, my director of marketing, and Zach, who you know Zach, our copywriter,
Sure.
and we were actually, so every YouTube video we were putting out, we would have a collaborative marketing meeting. Zach would come up with a bunch of different titles. We would vote on the titles. He would then, write the description. I'm sure he was using some AI for that, but that we found this tool that is specifically for YouTube videos where you put the video on unlisted and you run it through this AI platform, and it comes up with a bunch. It does everything that we were taking 30, 45 minutes in the marketing meeting to do together and talk through, and it does it in 60 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, this is incredible. And for me, I value, and I'm good with paying for the labor and support because I like the collaboration, but it now puts rocket fuel on what we can now do as a team and how many of those we can accomplish. I was just blown away.
Yes. And you make such an important point, because there's a distinction there too, is I think last count in 2022 or 2023, there was 32 million small businesses in the United States. The vast majority of them are under $1 million in annual revenue. What does that mean? It means that in terms of marketing budget, most of them don't have a budget. They can't hire a full-time marketing person. They're wearing a marketing hat, a production. I mean, they're doing everything. They're making the food, they're selling the food, they're waiting the tables, the vast majority of businesses. And so I sort of stumbled into it where I found all this joy in actually helping those businesses that otherwise didn't have access to tools, didn't have access to teams. We're connected to virtual staffing firms now. I never anticipated this, but it's kind of like that idea of you take the first step. Martin Luther King said, "You take the first step, and the stairwell reveals
The
itself." It's
first
like you
step in
have
faith.
that
Yep.
first step in faith. So that happened. We started doing these things with these workshops, and all of a sudden, small businesses gravitated because remember Mad Libs when you were a kid? You'd fill in the blanks, adjective, verb, or maybe I'm too old, like you're younger. But Mad Libs was like, you just give me a noun, give me a verb, give me an adverb, and then it paints a story. The way we created the prompts was very much like Mad Libs, like anybody could do it. You just copy paste and then fill in the industry you're in. Describe in one sentence or 3 words who your ideal customer is, a couple of things, and then watch AI take over. And we started doing that. And then businesses would come and say, okay, how do I do this? And geez, I don't have the money to hire a full-time person. And then all of a sudden we started getting connected with virtual assistants. More and more, I would see the people that were buying my courses were small business owners, and then they would give it to their virtual assistant who was $600 a month, but they could turn that person into essentially a director of marketing. They were hardworking, they were smart, but with the tools and then the training, they could level up the entire marketing that was something beyond the reach of most small businesses, around $250,000, but they could afford this. And then the quality of marketing was just phenomenal. And so that's what we've seen the biggest growth in, is these, 250 to $1 million companies, or million plus, that are hiring virtual assistants as a director of marketing, and for less.
It's so incredible. And as you're saying this, I mean, I just think about the franchise niche specifically, given this is the Franchise Empire show, but there are over 700,000 franchise owners in the United States alone, and more than 80% of them are single unit operators, right? So the average franchisee cannot afford to hire a director of marketing. They may have a one unit or location that maybe does six, seven, $800,000 in sales. Maybe they're running on 15-20% margins, right? And so
Yep.
to be able to leverage something like that is a complete game changer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's transformative. And I've seen that with the people in our courses, where they come in a little bit nervous about, how do I make all this work? I'll give you one. What is a great example? There's a prompt called the prompt engineer prompt. Now this rolls back the clock like 9 months. The prompt engineer prompt was essentially this thing you could type into ChatGPT and essentially tell ChatGPT, you're going to become my prompt engineer, and you're going to help me create the ideal prompt for whatever it is that I want to accomplish. So let's say you wanted to create a marketing plan. You and ChatGPT would have this dialogue, and this prompt engineer prompt was something you could copy and paste into ChatGPT. And then you'd have a dialogue. I was super excited about this. I introduced it to my students in some of my workshops, and I thought it was fantastic. But the feedback I got from the business owners were like that size you said, about 700,000. They're wearing one hat. They're receivables, the buyer, the seller, the everything. And so after about 3 or 4, maybe 5 conversations back and forth with ChatGPT, I would see the expressions change. Like, I'm already thinking I've got to go pick up my kids. I've got my phone ringing. I would have people at dealerships saying, I can't do this right now. They'd be on the phone. I'd be like, these guys don't have a spare minute. And if it takes too long, they're just not going to do it. So that's where we came up with the concept of like Mad Libs: copy, paste, fill in 4 things. And then that will be the output, will be your marketing plan. Then the output could be your email campaigns. And that was something that was accessible, instant gratification, and they could up level it. They could rerun it and do it better and better and better. But if they didn't have time, it would be better than anything they'd ever done before, and a huge step in the right direction.
That's incredible. All right. So how do we, because some of my other questions are related to the actual kind of nuts and bolts and some of the stuff that you teach in your boot camp. So probably easier if we just do it live. So how do you want to do this? You want me to, what do you want me to pull up?
Let's do
or
it.
You're going to pull it up?
Okay. Yeah. If you'd like, I will share my screen, and then I'm going to interview you. Cool. And I'll give you all the stuff at the end. And then we're going to just rock and roll right here, real time.
Let's do it.
All right. So let me get my glasses here. Okay. This is a snippet from one of my workshops, but I thought this would be really cool to do. This is called the Ultimate 2024 Digital Marketing Plan Generator. Now, my guess is you've already got a marketing plan in place, or some broad strokes, or some maybe fine strokes in place. But anybody watching, watch how easy this is. Now, if I was your marketing consultant, Tarek, I would say to you, okay, to have a strong marketing plan, we need to do a couple of things. We need to first identify your customers.
It's
Ideally, we'd have a
popping up.
core message. We'd build
Now I
out
can
that
see it.
framework
Yep.
from your core customers and your core message. We would then start to build out a marketing plan with a budget and establish goals. Before we spend any money on ads, before we spend any money on email marketing or anything else, we got to know who we want to talk to, how we're going to persuade them with irresistible offers, what that plan is going to look like, what our budget is going to look like, taking into account the acquisition costs of your clients, and then start to set KPIs and goals along the way, along with a calendar. Now, those 6 steps, 99% of small businesses don't ever get around to doing them because it costs money, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it's kind of that nitty gritty, but it's the foundation of any successful marketing campaign. And everybody knows this, but nobody does. It's kind of like, I want to be in great shape, but I still eat pizza. Like, step 1, don't eat pizza, but we do it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do these things and get the result without paying the thousands of dollars or take months to do it. So,
and this is great because we
one-
can do it with a kind of a new idea that I've been thinking about. We can apply it towards, instead of franchise buyers, franchise owners, because at some point we're going to start to roll out some stuff helping franchise owners. So this will be cool because it'll be all fresh.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, then here's what we'll do. My goal will be we'll at least do a couple of these things right now, and then watch how it unrolls. So the first step is pinpointing your target audience and really understanding what motivates that target audience. And a lot of people say, well, I don't exactly know where to start. And like, how do I do this thing? And then I call a consultant and I'm thousands of dollars in. Okay. What if instead you could do the Mad Libs theory, take this prompt, and I'll give this to you. I'll show you where to get it. I'll give you all the links at the end. Can you see this prompt right now that I'm highlighting?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. So this is what's called a prompt. For anybody that doesn't know, this is instructions to ChatGPT to create something. And what we're going to do, the stuff in bold, that's the stuff that any business owner, if they take 30 seconds, and that's about all it takes the first time. You can spend more time on this, but it's about all it takes to fill in your business name, what products and services you sell, what industry you're in, what specific audience you want to target, 3 words, 4 words. If you want to get more complicated with a sentence, 2 sentences, or even you can copy and paste a bunch of data in. I've got one client that has all this customer data. They actually have loaded in a ton of customer data, and it gets more and more refined. Specific audience, the problems they're struggling with, that if you heard them on the phone talking to their best friend, what would they be saying just in plain English? What their problems are as it relates to your product or service, where if you heard that conversation, you would say to yourself, that's my ideal customer. And then finally, your website address. So without going into too much of the detail, this is what we call the framework. Don't worry about this. These are commands, instructions to ChatGPT to output the information in a way that makes sense. This is where the 20 years of marketing is behind the scenes, and then helps you be level up instantly like you're a marketing pro and you've had 20 years experience. So enough talk. Let's see how this works. So my students would first copy this, go over to ChatGPT and paste. And can you see ChatGPT for me?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. All right. So let's do this live. I'm creating a 2024 marketing plan for my business. It's currently December. I want you to act as a marketing expert with a special emphasis in digital marketing, social media, and AI, and help me create a detailed persona for my target audience. My business name is, you could take these little carrots or whatever the heck they're called out. What is your business name?
Franchise Empire.
Empire. And we sell?
Yes, and actually, and we will do this for the franchise buyers because I know that inside and out. And we sell a franchise buying system called Zero to Profitable Franchise.
In the what industry?
Franchise industry.
Okay. Our current target audience is?
Yeah, they are frustrated and unfulfilled employees who want to go from employee to employer. They are
Beautiful.
anything else you want around specifics around that they like need to have the capital or anything like that, or that's good enough.
Yeah, actually, let's go. Well, let's see what happens here. What are three problems they're struggling with, and then we'll take a look at it and see if we want to add a layer of detail. But forgive me, they are currently struggling with the following problems. And imagine this employee, currently an employee
Yep.
who wants to go to employer. He's on the phone with his or her husband, wife, sister, best friend, and they're saying, I'm so frustrated about. What are the things they're frustrated about or problems?
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast episode so far. One of the most consistent things that we hear from people that reach out to us is that buying a franchise feels really confusing. There's so many options out there. It's a scary decision. They don't know how to vet or do the due diligence or really narrow down on the right franchise for them, and then they really feel alone in the process. You might be the only one in your family who's ever pursued buying a franchise or being an entrepreneur, or maybe you've tried to start a side hustle before, or other businesses like me. Like before franchising, I was not able to crack the code on entrepreneurship. I'd like to invite you to reach out and work with us. We've helped many clients buy franchises, get them profitable, or buy resale businesses that are thriving. I'm talking about highly profitable resales, great value. We've allowed many of our clients to actually quit their job right away and replace their income immediately. So if you want to work with me and my team on finding or buying a franchise, doing due diligence, vetting it, or resale, then go ahead and go to tarzjohnson.com/consulting, and we're happy to see if we can help. All right, enjoy the rest of the episode. Yeah, well, number one is related to their current situation. They're frustrated that they're, not making the money they want to make. They don't have the control and freedom and flexibility over their time, how much vacation they can take, and just really not having their ideas valued at work. And they wanted to be an employee, or they wanted to be an entrepreneur for a long time. They've tried to start different businesses or side hustles before, but it hasn't worked out. So that would be like one problem, and then I can go into a couple others.
How's that?
That's good. And then
Okay.
another problem they're facing is that they like the idea of franchising, but they're unsure if it's the right fit for them. And part of that is it's really overwhelming and confusing trying to pick and find the right franchise because there's so many options.
So that's great. Now we're into it for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, and the truth is we spend in our workshops, we'll spend a full hour on just this. But for the purposes of demonstration, you'll see how powerful this is, even if you just spend a total of 6 minutes on going through this basic
One
thing.
last thing to add there, Scott. Their biggest fear is buying the wrong franchise and losing money.
What is the website address? I'll tell you why we're doing this in a second.
FranchiseEmpire.com.
So what we've done now, before creating a persona, please review my website for additional details. My website address is. Why would we do that? Well, because with ChatGPT 4, you have browsing capability, and it's going to go look at your website and basically scan and scour your website for additional details about your target audience that it can glean from your website in seconds.
That's incredible.
So it's really, really powerful. And that used to take, now how else could you use that? Well, we could then look at your competitors after we were done with this. In our workshops, we'll do this. In our classes, we do this and say, hey, give me 3 additional competitors. Tell me their offers, their incentives, their key messages. Summarize their key messages, their offers that we need to be aware of to make our messages better. There's all kinds of different prompts you could do. And then in seconds, it takes 2 or 3 minutes, and you can see it browsing. And then it comes back, and you can put it in table format, and it just lists it out. It says, okay, there's the offers that they're making. There's the language around it, how they're positioning the offer. There's a guarantee, and you can do competitive research now in seconds.
That's incredible.
So Really, really powerful. Okay, so that's it. We've got it. Now what we're going to do is we've given it a command to put it in these different tables or organize it in sections of demographics, user description, psychographics, shopping behaviors, how we can help this person. And we're going to tell them to write it in English. So here we go. Usually takes about 2 minutes. But so check it out. It just scoured your website like that. Like, I think that was 2 seconds. So it got hung up. It went and checked out your website, and then it came back and said, do you need anything else? And then it forgot to do exactly what it said. So that's a great actual example. It's not a perfect thing. You have to sometimes watch it and say it is a little bit like a person. It's got basically better memory than a person, but it still forgets. And in that case, it just plumb forgot the assignment. It went and researched your website, summarized your website, and then forgot to do the initial assignment. So
Which is it's a good point, which is why people like you exist, because even if you get the what to do and the how to do it, sometimes trying to do it on your own can still be like tricky, right? And
yes,
so, and it's one of the things we taught, like franchise buyers can go scour the internet on their own, like looking up like franchises, but having that network and having the group, and I think you have a program or something that has like weekly group calls and stuff like that, right? Where
yes.
you can work through some of those things, right? Because where I potentially got stuck and gave up right there, boom, you have someone like Scott where hey, what happened? And they go, oh, this happened. And it's like, oh, problem solved. Just saved you hours of
That's
time.
That's exactly what we do. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, we have a group of folks in our mastermind where every week them and their teams will come on and we'll work through each one of these in detail. And the cool thing is you get feedback because some people are not on ChatGPT 4, they're on ChatGPT 3.5, or they're in different AI tools. And so we compare and contrast because there's a lot of different situations. And so it's a lot of group learning and then tricks that we'll learn along the way. One trick that we learned is to simply expand. And so we always do 2 to 3 iterations. As you scan this, I want to show you how easy it is to rerun it. So as you look at this, Alex Johnson, 35, middle manager in IT, annual income, family situation, location, the user description, stuck in his career, dreams of entrepreneurship, seeking more freedom, income, and recognition, past business attempts failed, creating a fear of repeating mistakes, psychographics, characteristics, hobbies, interest, aspirations, goals, etc., through the main challenges, the needs, and the dreams. Now, the cool thing about these are all email campaigns. These are all social media campaigns. These are all ads. Like you can convert some of these into ads, and I'll show you in a minute. Like once you have these down, you can copy and paste these into a document and then come back and then build ads on these. So you've got all these different ones, and you can decide which ones you like the best. You can see his potential budget and then how we can help. Is there anything that you see in there that you'd like to change or modify or expand? What we've done is we just added to it. And the cool thing is there's no additional cost or anything. It just says, okay, got it. Okay. Now, before we move on to the marketing plan, before we move on to the marketing plan, please rerun the persona all together. Okay. So I want it all in one piece because I like to also refresh it sometimes and make sure it's got all the information all in one thing. And so now what we're going to do while that's doing that, we're going to go over and, in my example, I show marketing persona, but I'm going to go over here now. And now let's look at the marketing plan. So we've started to build out our persona, and this is a really long prompt. But what I've done is I've created a prompt. This is what I call the framework here. The framework, again, is the command and set of instructions that we are writing as marketers to ChatGPT to create an output that's meaningful and usable. This is the kind of stuff that we charge a lot of money for to then start to build all these lists. And I'll show you exactly what it means. But the step-by-step plans, like what are you going to need for, I'll give you an example here. We go in and I'm going to start to create what is the message to the market. I want 3 to 6 deep emotional pain points, 5 gains that the target audience desires, the value proposition, write a story using the brand hero's journey, 5 specific lead magnet ideas. Like you know how you'll sit in brainstorms and you're like, hey, we got to come up with some lead magnet ideas for a cold, warm, or hot audiences. When you and I were working together, that was one of the things we were doing. You could create a set of instructions so it automatically outputs that. And then you can go and refine it, and expand on it. But this is the framework that gives us a specific set of instructions. As a marketer now, you're a franchisee that is strapped for time, strapped for money, and you're like, I don't want to be a marketer. I just want the answer as quickly, as effectively, and as inexpensively as possible. I'm telling ChatGPT, you're a 15-year marketing pro. You have special expertise in digital marketing, AI, and social media. Now you're going to write me a marketing plan. And to help you with my marketing plan, here's a link to my competition. And now we're going to actually use some of the commands I talked about before. Do you have any links to any competitors, or do you want to leave that blank?
We can leave that blank. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So let's get rid of that. If you wanted to, you could go back and say, hey, here's 3 things that three different companies, they're doing something similar that we want to show how we're different and better. To help with my marketing plan, here's the unique selling proposition. What are like 1 to 3 things that are very unique to what you do, Tarek, in your trainings?
Yeah, we are the only company that will not just help people buy a franchise, but continue to work with them until they get it profitable. So one thing to distinguish about competitors, so to say, is every competitor out there, all they do is provide high-level matching services and just match with franchise buyers, and that's it. Then once people buy, their job is done. It's c'est la vie, goodbye, and they really have no kind of vested interest. Another thing that makes us different is we actually provide tools for due diligence to franchise buyers to really make sure that they're reducing the risk and protecting themselves to make the right buying decision.
I even had somebody say, well, geez, I don't know what my USP is. What's my unique selling proposition. We actually had it linked to the website, and then it suggested, so we paused, prompted it, and said, what are some of the USPs that you would suggest for me? And asked a handful of questions, and it was like instantly this AI put itself into a marketing consultant perspective and said, well, what's your history with this? How long have you been doing this? Have you had any case studies? And then the person's like, oh yeah, I did this and this and this and this. And there's a USP. So if you don't have something in our courses, in our live coaching calls, or even just on your own, you could then say, gosh, I don't know. Can you suggest some? And then I'll give you some feedback on whether that's right for me. So it's really incredible. If you get stuck, it can really help you. To help you with my marketing plan, my 2024 main objective, what would you say your number one overriding objective is in 2024? Maybe to help X number of students or X number of franchisees?
Yeah, it needs to be a specific metric?
Ideally it is, because then it can actually back into it and also give you examples of, if you want to help, I'm making up 100 franchisees, we're going to need to reach 10,000 franchisees. Give them this one course, get 10% to take this. I mean, it really can start to break down the numbers for you really beautifully if you do.
Yeah, I would say is to enroll 250 people for the year into our 0 to profitable franchise system.
Act like a marketing expert and manager. Create a marketing plan using the following outline. I forgot to do this. In English, in my target language, which is English, use headings accordingly. I think there might be one more. Nope, that's it. So that took us 5 minutes. Marketing plans can cost $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 or more, because people skip it and they don't actually write a marketing plan, and then they just throw darts at a dartboard. But what we're going to do is we've spent just a few minutes filling out what our number one objective is. And so we've got a number one objective to enroll 250 people in our 0 to profitable franchise system. And then it's giving us some key in EOS or in traction language. If you're a student of that management system, it's starting to give you the rocks, the main objectives, your main initiatives that they suggest you focus on. These are by no means done. This is where you can go back just 2 times, a couple of iterations, and you can really, really open this thing up. But it's better than nothing. A good plan today is better than a perfect plan tomorrow. And it's starting to describe 3 objectives for you. In order to get this goal, the objective is you're going to have to develop a multi-channel digital marketing strategy. And maybe you've already got that, so you can inform that. You're going to need to implement AI-driven analytics for targeted marketing. You regularly get clear on who your target marketing is. Engage in continuous market research. All 3 are pretty good. And you may or may already be doing these things. And so what you could do then is say, already doing that, you go back and refine that. This is assuming you're starting from scratch. It's then going to give you a couple of company initiatives to focus on for the year. Strengthen the brand's unique position as a comprehensive support system for franchise buyers. So it's saying, okay, that's your overarching strength that we really need to get across. What are going to be initiatives that are going to help drive that and cement that? Content marketing, social media, and AI enhanced targeting. Well, what does that mean? Educate potential customers about franchising our unique services. In our classes, we'll go back and say, how many people should we reach to do that? And can you break it down? One of our things is, you'll see in this presentation, is the next thing is the core message. And we skip core message, by the way, and then setting budgets and goals. So you could go back to this and then start breaking this down into specific goals and to build out your marketing plan. Like if you agree, yes, I need to educate potential customers, one of the prompts would be, well, how many people do we need to educate? Where do they live? What's some KPIs we need to get? If we want 250, how many people are we going to have to impact in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4? What lead magnet should we test? And by the way, lead magnets right down here. I'll show you. So we go through increase brand presence and direct engagement. Got it. Utilize AI tools for precise targeting and personalized marketing. And then it describes a holistic approach and marketing strategy. Attracting the right audience is going to be key. You're looking for this guy, this sort of middle-aged professional like Alex Johnson seeking career and change. Message to the market. This is some of your core message that you could decide whether it's right. Pain points, career stagnation, lack of freedom, previous business failures, financial independence, successful entrepreneurship, comprehensive support from purchase to profitability, zero to profitable franchise system. That's the product you offer. The story brand. You could then create an entire story. So we've seen people then build out their story and create an email campaign just around that to start to tell the story of how one person lived through exactly what they might be living through, showing how a hero would journey from transition to frustrated employee to successful franchise owner. That is a story that, as you tell that through testimonials, maybe your own story or other people's stories, people will resonate with that. It gave you a campaign narrative. Empower your entrepreneurial dream with Franchise Empire. Best channels. It's going to recommend best channels. I love this. This is now nurturing the sale. The first one, you remember, was just attracting the right audience. So how do you nurture the sale? It's giving you some lead magnets. You could then, in our courses, we break it down and do give me hot lead magnets, people that are really in market, ready to buy right now. Give me warm lead magnets, and then give me cold lead magnets. And do you remember when we worked together, we decided that ideally there are people that are at different places in their buying journey. Some people just know they have a problem. They're frustrated with their job, or they're nervous that their job isn't going to be around in 2024. There's specific lead magnets for that audience. Then there are people that are warm that will probably be more attuned to something like, I wonder if franchise is going to be right for me. Or they're hot. I know that franchise is going to be right. I got to figure out the right system, the right coach, the right program that's going to be for me. Each one will be a little bit different. We can go back and ask for hot, warm, and cold magnets and then describe that. And it gives 10 different examples of different lead magnets for where they are in the journey.
This is something that this is incredible.
It's rad, dude.
It's like all of the like I think for the average business owner, they probably don't have as much as our team in terms of the infrastructure has done. We've done some of this stuff, but certainly not with this level of detail, organization, structure. And I think that's probably one of the one of the big things for a lot of business owners is like they think of maybe one or two of these things here or there, but it's in the ether. It's like flying
Yeah.
around in the land of their mind, not in a documented strategy that they actually are like taking action on, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So this is something you could print out right here. Like my goal in 2024, just let's get this checklist done. Like I've never actually had a checklist. So let's see if through the course of the year, we can just one at a time. This is January. This is February. This is March. This is April. So at the end of the year, I don't go, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Just simple, simple, simple. Let's go through a checklist. So we included a checklist. And some of these things are just gold. Like most people, they haven't even thought, especially like franchises, having an active Google My Business profile is gold. And most people just forget about it. And it doesn't take a whole lot of time. You can find dozens and dozens of people on Upworks that can do it for $100.
Yeah, I don't even think
it's
we
a
have
no-brainer. Yeah, it's super smart. We work with a bunch of HVAC companies. Like, do you have an active Google My Business profile? Like, no. Do you have? Let me see if it's in here. I don't see like getting reviews. This is key for some businesses. Just making sure you get a text blast that goes out to everybody in your phone that says, "Hey, give me a positive review." So when people Google it, they go, "Oh wow, it's got 75 reviews and it's 3.5, 4 stars. It's legit." KPIs you should be looking at. Traffic generator. This is stuff that's going to generate organic traffic to your site. The sales funnel flow. Thinking about how you're going to attract people to your website to generate leads, to ultimately follow up. Trust building checklist. Looking at your website now as a marketer saying, do you have visible contact information? Do you have a professional email, physical address, or is it like Gmail? You know, is it integrated with CRM? Just a checklist. This is your blueprint that you can print out and go into the year without spending a dime and just start knocking off 5, 10, 15 things over the course of the year, and you'll be rewarded with a better performing website, content going out to your audience, and checklists to make your website perform better. Ideas for after sales, referral strategy, which people don't have. Oh, and then you'll see it stopped. Okay, well, why did it stop? Continue generating. Now it's giving you an action plan that now you can print out and bring with you. Oh, I waited too long. Sorry. I'm going to regenerate. After you're done, you now have an action plan from January through December where that could be how you kick off the year. Like print this out, keep it, and then just take January and it gives you like 4 things that you try to knock out. Like instead of it just like wondering where do you start, we even created a little like a 12-month checklist. Here's your details. And then at the very end, there's a little action plan where it's like, okay, in January, do these 4 things. Just do these 4 things.
Amazing.
And then move on to February.
Number one, can you send that to me? please send that to me.
Absolutely. Yes.
And we got to rock, but for folks that want to work with you guys and enroll in your program, and we'll drop the links below. But if you want to just talk about where do they go in order to do that?
Yes. So if you are interested and you say, gosh, I want to take it to the next step, here is what we would suggest. Go to 10-Day AI Bootcamp. That's the number 10, day, AIbootcamp.com. All lowercase, 10dayAIbootcamp.com, no spaces or anything. Check it out. Enroll in the 10-Day AI Bootcamp. And what you're going to get is that entire 10-step framework, one day at a time, 40-minute videos dropped into your inbox. You watch a video. It gives you an assignment at the end. That's it. You get another one the following day, another one the following day. You have lifetime access. So we take you by the hand. We teach you the concept. We give you the prompt. We show it's a live recordings from other people in our workshops. So you see people working through it. You can copy and paste the prompt, and we give you an assignment. Output that, go through 2 or 3 iterations, and then we'll see you tomorrow. And then you build on it one step after another. You have lifetime access, number 1. So if you miss a day, don't worry about it. You got lifetime access. You can do it next week. 2, 30-day money-back guarantee. So it's 12 days total because we give you 2 bonus lessons. Take 30 days. Try it. If you're not totally satisfied that you got twice the value, then send us a note. You get a money-back guarantee. So you can audit for 30 days. And then if you do this and you just say you're with Tarek, because this actually expires at the end of this month, and so I don't know when this is going, use the code SMART 90 and you get $1,500 off. It's a massive discount. It ends the end of this month, but if you mention you're with Tarek, Smart 90, SMART 90, the number 90, and you get a $1,500 discount. And it's dirt cheap compared to what you would waste on bad marketing for a long, long time.
Cool. So we'll drop all the links in the description and all of the details so everyone will have it. Scott, thanks so much for coming on, man. This was epic. Look forward to the next one, man.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'll send all the stuff to you now.
Sounds good. Hey, before we go, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. And the biggest thank you that you could ever give me is to share this episode with someone who you think will benefit. That means that we can share this message with more people and hopefully positively inspire them like we have you. So thank you. And until next time, go build your empire.